following is a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, gang, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are you all doing? It is Monday evening. Monday Night Football is on the TV. The Cowboys are doing battle with the Chargers right now. No idea what the score is because I'm not following the score right now because we're here right now bringing you content. Bringing you content for what? I'm glad you asked. Just in case you missed the intro, this is This Week in UGA Football. I am your host with the most, coming to you live from the 405 all the way in Oklahoma City where the wind comes whipping down the plane. Mr. Fingers coming to you from Zagnif Central, and that guy over there, he is the brother from another, the sexy mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place, in your face. It is my favorite part of the game. Colin P. from the DMV. How you doing, my G?
Oh man, I'm doing awesome. Full weekend of fun. We come away with a win, but I had a great time. The folks were up here, and B-Man's birthday. We went out to Dave and Buster's on Saturday, and watched the kids run around, play some video games and that kind of stuff. But had a great time. Celebrate my boy being officially being a teenager, and me officially. Well, I already knew it, but officially, being an old man with a teenager. So, it was a great weekend, man. Folks left this morning. It's been chilling out today, but just got a morning. And the news that we got this weekend, or actually today, kind of a little bit sad, about the big boy. So,
yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Shouts out to the B-Man, officially. Well, he ain't officially a man, but he goes. But I'm not gonna know what to do with myself when we start growing facial hair, man.
Man, well, yeah, he's already talking about shaving and stuff. I said, dude, be careful, slow your roll. You don't want to do that. I was the same. I said, once you do it, you got to do it religiously every day,
all the time. Or you wind up looking like you just came out of the woods. I'll tell you, boy.
Then you get tired of it. You go like, old lumberjack.
Yeah, right. Man, look, I remember I remember when the youngest of my progeny decided he was gonna grow himself a little. When he graduated high school, he had a little peach fuzz. Now he got a whole full all of this. It's insane.
Oh yeah.
It's insane.
Well, I'm scared. No, well, not scared, but he don't want to cut his hair, like the hair on his head. He don't want to cut it. So now you can turn him upside down and mop the kitchen because he got so much hair on him.
Jesus, but, what the hell, man? You do that to your kids? That's messed up, man.
No,
that's messed up.
I would. That was a C, not a W. I could, but I wouldn't.
You could. I could if I would if I could, but I can't, so I won't.
I could,
but I could. If I would,
should have, but didn't.
Right. Well, I didn't do much this weekend, man. I stayed home. I didn't even go to karaoke this weekend, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was feeling, man. Work, warrior boy out. I don't know where the mouse went. I'm trying to find the mouse and make sure I don't. There it is, right there. I didn't go out to karaoke or nothing like that. Yeah, I know. It's shocking, isn't it? It's a Friday night, and I stayed at home, and then I didn't go out Saturday night. I stayed. I'm so dumb with these sound effects.
That's been me for quite a few months now.
Yeah. So, dog, look, that one for you too. Those of you that don't know Colin and I met while I was still in the street doing the karaoke DJ thing, and he was at my show hardcore every Wednesday. And then he moved to the other side of town and started coming to the other show that was right around the corner from his house. So Colin and I were in the street for a minute. And now both of us sitting around and talking about, man, do I want to go out tonight? Man, I got food at home. I could watch the game at home.
I get planning on that couch. Once I sit down, it's over with. I ain't going nowhere.
Bruh, it's like going to Chipotle and not even getting a bowl. It is a wrap. You hear what I'm saying? You see what I did there? Yeah, I've been wanting to use that sound effect for so long. I've been wanting to use that sound effect for so long. I am so dumb. Oh man! So welcome to this week in UGA football, where we talk about all things UGA football. But before we get started, we gotta go around the SEC. Man, it was an interesting weekend for SEC football. There were a lot of wins that we expected. There was some losses there were some wins that we expected. There were some wins that were closer than we thought they were going to be. And there were a couple of losses at least one loss that I was not expecting. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and jump right on into it, man. Let's just go ahead and get
there was a lot of first quarters that were first quarter scores, the first 5 or 6 minutes that were surprising.
Right.
Not only us, but other teams as well. So
right. And we're gonna get into all of that when we come around to us. And don't worry, Georgia fans, we're not homers. We believe in speaking the truth. Like John Leguizamo and Moulin Rouge. I only speak the truth. Anyway, Bama and Arkansas. Bama gets away with a close one. Arkansas, who at this point is what? Arkansas is what, 2-4?
2-5.
Arkansas is 2-5. 2-5. No SEC wins. Plays Alabama to within a field goal. KJ Jefferson wasn't necessarily uber impressive stat-wise. He only threw for 150 yards. He did have a couple of touchdowns. But St. Nick had some high praise for him, and we talked about that. As a matter of fact, Nick Saban had this to say about KJ Jefferson, quote, "That quarterback is a handful. I mean, when a quarterback can take a major college football player and sling him off like a gnat on a fly's rear, a fly or a gnat on a cow's ass, that's one of the most impressive plays I've ever seen a player make," end quote. And
I'm glad he corrected himself, because I was like, how the hell do you get how does a fly, sling a gnat off his ass? I was like, all right, well, I mean, I guess it is smaller than a fly, but anyway. I'm glad he corrected himself.
And of course he delivered it. He delivered it in his typical Nick Saban voice, which, you know what I think? I think that's not Bill Belichick's real voice. I think Bill Belichick spent his whole time when he was working for Nick's like, I want to sound like him when I can become a coach. So now he gets on the microphone and he talks like this. The only thing he doesn't do is to talk about Miss Terry and oatmeal cream pies on Sunday. But
exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't Milroe threw for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. Big telling stat here, negative 19 yards rushing. But Bama manages to pull this one out 24-21. They are 6-1 with only 6-1. I think if I'm looking at that right, let me make sure I double check this before I misspeak. But I do believe that the Crimson Tide are, yes, undefeated in conference play. So still in the running for winning the SEC West with just that one loss. Keeping this thing moving. Texas A&M drops another one to Tennessee in the no you win game. Basically, Texas A&M came into the third quarter leading 13-7. And D. Williams got the punt return for the go-ahead touchdown. That was the butter. That was the butter on the bread, pretty much. Tennessee shut out Texas A&M in the fourth quarter to close the game out 20-13. Max Johnson with 223 yards, 2 interceptions. Joe Milton, not exceptionally impressive. He only threw for 100 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, but that was all it took. Now, here's the telling stat here. The Tennessee controlled the ground game. They had 232 yards rushing altogether. Jalen Wright provided 136 of those. The Volunteers are 5-1 with 5-1. No, yeah, they're 5-1 with 1 conference loss, 2-1 in the conference. Next up, they have Alabama, Texas A&M now 4-3 with 2 conference losses. Pretty much, I mean, it's already been said that Fisher he's on the hot seat. They're not going to fire him this season because they owe him too much money, but he's definitely still on the hot seat. So, on the hot seat as in I mean, honestly, the only thing that's going to erase the hot seat for Fisher right now, for Jimbo, they played 7 games. The only thing is he's going to have to win at least 4 of the 5 remaining games. And I don't even know if that's possible. Let me pull this up real quick and see who they got on the slate, who they have coming around the mountain when they come. Texas A&M has to play. Wait for it. They are currently 4th in the SEC West with those losses. Let's see who they got up next. They got South Carolina. That should be a win. Ole Miss, that's a 50-50. Mississippi State, that's a 50-50. Abilene Christian, that should be a win. And LSU,
that's a loss.
That's a loss.
That's a definite
loss. He should be able, with the 50-50s and the definites, be able to pull off those 4 wins. But I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think so either. I mean, well, you said 4 out of 5. Yeah, I mean, it'll be something surprising if he'll be able to do that. Because I mean, I don't even know like South Carolina. I mean, like it just depends on what who shows up on South Carolina's side. I mean, they're in South Carolina, so I mean that could potentially be a loss.
That's a hard play. That's a hard place to play. I don't care how bad South Carolina is. That's a hard place to play. If you let me tell you something. If you had to play 60 minutes of football and listen to Sandstorm blaring through a multi-million dollar PA system every 15 seconds and a bunch of people waving white towels at you.
Yeah. That's sure.
That could be a little annoying. I mean, unless you could just shut it all out. And that's, for a good while there, it was a hard place for us to play, especially when ball game coach was down there. God, we hated going down there.
Yeah, it didn't matter where he was, Florida or South Carolina, we couldn't beat him.
We could not beat that dude. Hey, kudos to Steve Spurrier, that guy. Greatest coach at the University of Florida, in my opinion, and that includes Urban Meyer. For those of you that are still Urban Meyer acolytes, yes, including Urban Meyer, because he gave Georgia the what for the whole time he was there, and then he's like, I think I'm gonna coach in South Carolina, and then he gave Georgia the what for. We were like, oh, we should be able to beat him at South Carolina. South Carolina sucks. Not while he was there.
He was there, though, and he didn't mind running up that score either. He didn't care. He's gonna run it up.
Not at all. Ball game coach is like, hey, I ain't here to whistle.
That's right.
So, shaky future possibly for the remainder of the season for Texas A&M. Tennessee still in the hunt. Let's see here. LSU 48, Auburn 18. God, that was just Rocky IV, throw the damn towel is basically what that was. This is Auburn's third straight loss. LSU still with 1 loss in the West, so they're right behind Bama, nipping on their heels. Auburn, we already know they're out of it, although they always manage to find a way to be up for the Iron Bowl. So that one I'm still looking forward to seeing. I didn't even bother taking down any stats for that game. I mean, it was right. It was a whooping. It was a flat out whooping. As a matter of fact, it looks like it was the only real whooping in the between SEC teams this week.
I mean Daniels was 325.
Yeah. So moving on to the next game here, Missouri and Kentucky. In years past, this would have been a game that everybody would have flipped away from, but Missouri has generated a lot of buzz in the conference this year. And they're 6-1 with 1 conference loss, so they're still in the running to win the East. Kentucky 5-2 with 2 conference losses, but both teams have managed to pull off winning records in recent years. Both teams have managed to pull off winning records in recent years, and it looks like I've lost Colin here, so hopefully he's able to get back in the. He's able to jump back in the fold. Uh, there he is. He's right on back. There's my man, 50 grand. What happened, Doc?
Oh no, I told you, B-Man had my computer. I don't know what he did with it.
Yeah, Ray Davis had 128 yards, but no touchdown. So, he got some good yardage on the ground. I think people have figured out that game plan. If you can keep Ray Davis out of the end zone, you got a pretty good chance of winning. And Missouri did just that. Devin Leary. There was a lot of talk about Devin Leary coming into this season, the promise that he showed and things like that. But I think they really were looking for somebody to replace Will Levis. And that's a tall task given what Levis gave to the program.
Yeah.
Will Levis was definitely not the best quarterback in the SEC, definitely not the best quarterback in football, in college football, period. But he brought a lot to that Kentucky program, and he contributed a lot to the rise of the Wildcats as a football program. And Leary has some big shoes to fill. He only went 14 to 27 for 120 yards, and even though he had 2 touchdowns, he had 2 interceptions. So there you go. Let's see, and then the shocker for me here, the Gators. Man, we've been talking about we've been following our guy Uncle Lou and making jokes about Sunbelt Billy and this, that, and the third. And is this going to be, is he going to be on a hot seat after this season? Our guys managed to put together. They've won 4 of their last 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
absolutely. They have won 4 of their last 5 games. Now let's run through this list. This murderer's row they've beaten. Now we're not gonna play the who have they played game because you got to beat who's ever put in front of you. But for reference,
right.
week 2 against McNeese State, and they pummeled them 49-7. Week 3 against Tennessee, and Tennessee has been Tennessee is not the same team they were last year. With that hurry up offense. That hurry up offense just basically threw a lot of people on their butts. They beat Tennessee by 2 scores. They beat Charlotte 22-7, which they were supposed to do. The one loss they had was against Kentucky, and if memory serves, that was the week that Mr. Davis put up that 300-yard performance. They beat Vanderbilt 38-14, and they beat a over the top of the crest and sliding down the back end of the mountain, South Carolina. But they managed to pull that win out. And that's the game we're talking about right now, 41-39. So they won 4 of their last 5 games. Graham Mertz, man. Graham Mertz had 423 yards and 3 touchdowns and 166 yards, and one of those was Jericky Pearsall. And Spencer Rattler actually kind of in the loss. Spencer Rattler balled out too. He had 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. And like I said, Spencer Rattler has finally found his groove. He just found it on the wrong team. Listen. Tennessee does have 1 loss, Mr. Spencer. You are right. The OG Sean Spencer joining the show. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, sir. We appreciate it. And that's not throwing shade. That's real talk. Appreciate you joining the show. You're talking about a 1-loss Tennessee. You're absolutely right. They are a solid squad. I don't see the same. Is it me? Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and say this about everybody in the SEC this year. Is it me, or has the SEC lacked a certain oomph this year? Just overall. I mean, we've talked about for the longest time the SEC is the conference to beat. You could take any team in any other conference and set them up against the SEC, and the SEC will run them over. I still watch the games, but it's like I kind of feel like there's a little luster missing this season. Is it just me?
No, it's not you. It's not. I mean, I could say the same thing because I mean, it's basically it just means more or less. Well, I mean, the thing is with us is like everybody's looking for Alabama, right? Alabama's always been at the cusp. They always been the king of the hill. Now, and I don't know, who would you think LSU would be behind them? I guess in the West, right? Maybe the past couple of years. And LSU is they're not doing. I mean, they're not doing bad, but it's just like you. After the last, I guess what I'm trying to say is like when Georgia won the last two national championships, it seems like everybody on the East is kind of falling off, except for us. You know what I mean? And the grand scheme.
Oh no, you throw us
And
in
the
there too,
West,
my
and then
friend.
the West has too. So I mean, the West is as since Bama is not there. Bama kind of dropped. Not saying down far, but I mean further than where they used to being.
Dude, it is a weird world. It is a weird world in college football when um Alabama's ranked outside the top 10.
No doubt, absolutely. That is
That is
absolutely
it. That is it. That's a weird world. I mean, we've literally there are children right now that are graduating high school
yeah,
that have never known Alabama not to be in the top 10.
for sure. No, I agree
Because
totally. I mean, like,
he's
and
been there since what? Yeah,
that was bad.
and
I mean, like, and we're getting some of that too, because I mean, honestly, we're getting some bandwagon people. What I mean? And I don't know if I'm not saying that's all the people that were rooting for Alabama, but I mean, they did gain a lot of fans when that was what they were doing. They're kind of like the Dallas Cowboys when they were America's team. I feel like a lot of people jumped on that wagon. But, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because, I mean, that hasn't, I mean, they've been, the juggernaut, the team to beat for quite some time until we, finally, it was finally our time,
yeah. I'm leaving this comment up because I'm going to address it in a minute. I just I feel that I mean, and even the statistic was up during the Alabama game, said since Nick Saban's tenure in Tuscaloosa, the Crimson Tide have never gone more than 3 seasons without winning a national championship. Never
Really?
in his tenure. And there's a strong possibility looking at competition not only within the SEC but outside of the conference that could happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're going to talk about a game outside of the SEC here in just a minute, with the team that is a possible contender. But just to address Sean's comment here, said, yeah, y'all felt that way. The rest of America didn't feel that any team from the SEC could crush teams from other prominent conferences. Well, basically, if I may, sir, I want to fine tune that statement. It's not a backing away from the statement, but I want to fine tune that statement. Basically, at this point, it's give us the best teams from any other conference, the Power 5, Pac-12, Big 10, ACC. Bring those teams, the top teams from those conferences, and pit those teams. Oh, the Big 12, pit those teams against the top teams from the SEC. I mean, the proof is kind of in the pudding, though, man. I mean, you had Tennessee in the late '90s. You had Florida was winning national championships. I mean, the last 20 years, it's been
Auburn was in there too.
Yeah, I mean, in the last, let's just go back to I don't even have to go back to Tennessee. You got Auburn, you got Florida, you got Alabama. Yeah, Georgia's won the last couple. I mean, in the last especially in the last decade, because if you start going back in the last 20 years, you gotta talk about Jameis. You gotta talk about Clemson. Clemson's had a couple. I mean, you gotta give props where props are due. But especially within the better part of this last decade, it's been a wash. You go back to 2010 with Killer Cam and Auburn running the table, and then Alabama, and then you've had LSU got in there, and they got themselves one. I think that is more of the gist of what we're trying to say is you take the top ranked teams in the SEC year to year and match them up against the top teams in the other 4 conferences in the Power 5.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, I mean, it kind of won't solidify everything, but I can't wait till Texas and Oklahoma get in there. Because I'm really not trying to say they're gonna get there, they're gonna get stomped. But I mean, it's gonna be a new look for them. I mean, it is gonna be a look for them. I mean, they can say what they want to say, but it's gonna be a new look for them when they play, teams from the SEC.
I actually have to, and like I'll go ahead and go on record saying it. I said it last week. I'll say it again this week. I'm willing to walk my statement back a little bit because the proof is in the pudding next year. Is all bets are the gloves are off next year. All bets are off. But as of right now, I'm willing to walk my statement back a little bit and say Texas, Oklahoma might be. I mean, Oklahoma might be. Might be. I mean, next season, just what Venables has been able to do with the defense in Norman in 1 year is amazing.
Yeah,
is amazing. It's almost night and day because there are games that this year's Oklahoma squad won that Lincoln Riley would have pissed away. See USC versus Notre Dame for reference. Just saying.
yeah.
I wasn't gonna, and I'm not saying that Notre Dame's not a good squad. It's just that you have a reigning Heisman Trophy winner. You know, you had a team that essentially was the heir apparent to win the Pac-12 before the season started, and they started putting pad on pad, and Michael Penix started doing his thing in Washington, and Bo Nix was doing his thing in Oregon. You know, and you get even his offensive line. Caleb Williams got sacked 3 times. We're not going to talk about that. We weren't going to talk about that. Just not to get sidetracked. You know what though, Sean? I give you that, but here's the kicker. Even in the years when Georgia wasn't even necessarily in the running for the national championship, it was always every other year Georgia versus Bama in the SEC championship. Best in the East, best in the West. I know Auburn. I know Auburn had a run. I know Florida's had a run, but the last about 5, 6,
at least 5 years. Yeah.
No. I got to take it back a decade because remember Aaron Murray.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Aaron Murray had a couple of cracks at Alabama.
Remember the one and done when Stafford. Remember the one and done we played Bama that one time? It was one and done. We went to overtime.
Right, and so it's just that Bama. I will say this: Bama has had Georgia's number for a very long time. We got our get back in the national championship, but Bama's had Georgia's number for a long time. But you take that same Georgia squad that couldn't beat Alabama and put them up against a USC or a Clemson or a Oklahoma, and we've done it. I mean, the Rose Bowl, Georgia versus Oklahoma, boom. Yeah. Last year before, Michigan, Ohio State last year, Michigan the year before, boom. TCU this past year, boom. And I know TCU was severely overmatched, but still, they were the Big 12 champion. That's where that's where I'm kind of getting that from. I think it's more of from the top team. I mean, come on, man. Vanderbilt is not going to beat USC. Although after Saturday,
that's completely surprised me. I turned on that. I was like, "What in the world? Look at that! Oh my gosh!" But yeah.
And listen, OG, I'm not taking anything away from your points. You're making some solid points. I'm just giving you my counterpoints.
It's kind of tough to deal in hypotheticals because it's just like it's kind of like.
Okay, see, wait a minute. Hold on, Colin. Why you got to bring Desmond Ridder into this, man? Desmond Ridder throw 873 interceptions? You know why he brought that up? You know why he brought that up?
Who cares if it's barely or 25 points? It's a win.
He want to bring Desmond Ridder up because Desmond Ridder got curb stomped by his Commanders yesterday. Left hand up. I give you your love, man. Look, I be giving your team their props. You can't let me have no props for my team. I don't be clowning you for your left hand up. I'll be in your corner all the doggone time. Here you come talking about Desmond Ridder. Look, man. Desmond Ridder need to go bye-bye with Felicia. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know what in the world was going on with that. That was a toilet bowl as far as I'm concerned. God, we're terrible. But it's still 500 though, That's all right. Just been a bad. And the Braves too, don't even get me started about the Braves.
Hey, look, we still lost though. We still lost though. I appreciate. Look. He's trying to give us our prospect in the game. We lost. But y'all just lost by a TD. Calm down. Left hand up.
Hey, what was it? How many penalties did we have on the goal line? They were trying to give us a game. The Commanders were. They were jumping off sides. We got half the distance. We still couldn't put it in the zone. We were like on a half-yard line. Still couldn't score. So anyway, that's that Georgia curse is trying to creep back in there. But anyway.
Well, look, okay, listen, Mr. Spencer, I can't be wrong from time to time. All I'm saying. You know what? And here's the thing. I got no problem coming back and going, I apologize for my outburst. Like I'm Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks. I got no problem. All I'm saying is they almost did. It's just like that Brian McKnight song. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
That's right. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but didn't. Did not do
it.
Didn't happen.
Let's see here. What we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna take a quick break because we have pretty much gone all the way around the horn. We take a quick break and we will be right back with more This Week in UGA football. You guys stay tuned. Don't go too terribly far.
Ain't nobody worried about no Georgia.
That was a very short break. Very short break. I thought that was the long commercial. I keep doing every week. I think that's the long commercial. That's the short commercial. But hey, yeah, I do that every week. The short commercials on the left, the long commercials on the right. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of This Week in UGA Football. Those of you just joining us, Mr. Fingers here, Colin P over there. We just got done going all the way around the horn talking about SEC games that took place. But there is one game that we have not spoken on, and that is a very special game near and dear. Well, not near and dear to our hearts, but this game was a slobber knocker. It was a barn burner. It was the roof's on fire. We don't need no water. Let the mother burn that one there.
Yeah.
The Ducks went to Washington, and man, haymakers were thrown. Legends were made and stories will be told. But at the end of the day, what it came down to was that missed field goal. Man, what's going on with field goal kickers? Side note, let me go ahead. I had to start prefacing with a side note. What is going on with field goal kickers, man? Field goal kickers can't kick no more. And I'm not just talking about in college. I'm talking about in the pros too. But I'll save that for the round table tomorrow.
Well, it's coming down. If you look at it, it's coming down to people going to get them out of the stands. Like they're going to get folks that can kick out of the stands. But
dude, it's like that kick for a healthy young leg. I understand a lot of pressure on the line. You've probably been hearing all the hype all week and trying not to read the articles and stay off social media. And you probably checked some of it out anyway. Got up there at the biggest stage and just missed it. And it should have been a chip shot. You think it was nerves, or you think my man's need to go back to the drawing board and practice a little bit? Because
yeah.
I mean, I can't really say anything. Even Goggles missed that one. Goggles missed that one kick that the infamous kick that had him looking crazy, looking at the ball like, did I really just miss that? Yes, you really just missed. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Every time lately, when the field goal kicker misses the kick, he turns around and looks at the goalpost like he's studying them. You know how you had a guy to show up to play pickup ball on the court, and he trying to dunk, and he talking about how he could dunk, and he dunked on so-and-so when they was in high school and blah, blah, blah. Oh, man, I played ball with Allen Iverson. I dunked on Allen Iverson twice. I'm going to be dunking on you cats all day, go up to hit the dunk, miss it. Be talking about, man, somebody measured that rim. That rim ain't regulation. That's how they feel. That's how the field goal kick. That's exactly how these field goal kickers are looking at these goalposts. Like, did they move it? Is it on a swivel? I don't know. Anyway, but it was a ridiculously exciting game. Both Bo Nix and Michael Penix showed out.
Yes, they did.
Showed.
Tell you what, man, I'm impressed with Bo Nix, man. I'm impressed with him. He finally found a home over at Oregon. I mean,
yes, sir.
Do better than he's been at. He did at Auburn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bo Nix, I know you probably will never see nary one of these shows here. I'm gonna go ahead and mark this down. So I'm gonna clip this part right here. Bo Nix, I know you will probably never see near one of these shows right here, but when you were playing at Auburn and me and my guy here was doing the show and me and the OG Sean Spencer and the comments would talk, I called you Happy Feet because it looked like
Oh, yeah.
you was tap dancing harder than Sammy Davis Jr. trying to get away from Gregory Hines. You hear what I'm saying? Running for your life. You was like that one line on that Public Enemy song, running for your life. For real, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And
He's got-
and I dogged you, and I dogged you, and I dogged you, and you went to Oregon, and you have found a home, and you are doing big things out there on the West Coast. And honestly, wishing you nothing but the best. You making in the league, wishing you nothing but the best. You can look back be on draft day crying, talking about, man, I remember when them podcasters, I can't even remember their name, but they used to call me Happy Feet, and now I'm a first round draft pick. I'm going to Disney World.
Used to call Kate, what they call him? Was it a pick six Bo Nix? I mean, that's horrible. But at the same point,
yeah, for sure. I'm on
OG. Better. So I mean, he's doing 100% better. He's got a home, and too bad that they lost that game. It just it was awful. But
because it basically
I did. That's what I was talking about that going to kick that guy out of the stadium. He kicked a 30-yarder. That's what I was referencing. They were getting him out of stand.
Yeah, what was I saying? You got me. I got all confused. Yeah, OG. I wrote down the time hack so I can make sure I get the clip just in the right spot. But he's doing big things, and actually, that was just like people were saying the week before with OU Texas that we were looking at a potential Pac-12 championship matchup with USC taking that hard loss to Notre Dame. It's not a conference loss, so they're still undefeated in the conference. But I honestly, I think USC is going to lose another game before the season is over, and it's going to be a conference loss. It's going to be a conference loss because I don't think they have not played Oregon, nor have they played Washington, and I also believe they still have UCLA on slate. And none of those three teams are slouches, as we already have been able to ascertain from their records.
You know who else they got? Who else they got?
Who that?
What is a Ute? They got to play the Utes too, so they haven't played them yet. So they're playing them next up.
Oh man, they're playing Utah.
Yes, sir. They're playing them Utes. Watch out, Utes they may lay them down.
I wonder what Judge Harlan got to say about that.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
What is a Ute? The Utes are going to be what they're going to do. The Utes are going to Ute all over them.
Yep, indeed. We got shouts out to from our boy Vandy Chris.
Hey, what's up, man?
Had the UGA for the week. Yeah, and we're gonna get it. We're gonna get into those injuries. We're gonna get in those injuries in just a minute. Good God, that one hurt me. That one hurt me.
That hit was nasty though. That was awesome. I'm glad to see him not lower his head though. Man.
I guess my man say he want to get. Wait a minute, where am I? Oh, there we go.
Threw a pick right after that. So yeah, he's probably mad that he threw a pick and he had to go down there and take it out on whoever took it.
Yeah. So yeah, but that was one hell of a game. Probably the best game of the day, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
So let's get into this right here. We're just gonna go ahead and jump right on into it. We'll get to a commercial break later because we want to make sure we get this in. Georgia beats Vanderbilt 24th game in a row, extending their they weren't playing at home, so that one doesn't count as a home win streak, but they're extending their win streak to 24 games. And while I want to be happy that we won, I got some questions. I mean, it was a win, but it wasn't. It literally was like the Hulk didn't want to smash no more, and he turned back into Bruce Banner.
Yeah,
pretty much. They showed up. It was like a cat playing with a mouse before he killed it. Honestly, it's just they came out and they scored. Matter of fact, first of all, Vanderbilt scores their first touchdown against Georgia since 2018.
Exactly. Yep.
In the very 5 years. On their very first possession, defenders out of the secondary, all sorts of out of place on that play.
Yeah.
Then we,
Anyway, hey, Anthony, you know what's funny is I actually mentioned that to my father when he was up here. I was like that night, or it was Friday night. I said, "Hey, Dad," I said, "You realize that Vanderbilt hadn't scored a touchdown on Georgia, in 5 years?" And I said that, and then I'll be darned if we were at David Buster's, and there they marched right on down the field and put it in the end zone. I was like, well, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he said, "You shouldn't have said something." Shouldn't have said, and I said, "Well, yeah." But anyway. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing things 7 games in that we shouldn't see anymore. Like a center forgetting to actually hand the quarterback the ball.
Well, that was a good recovery.
Fortunately, he was alert enough to realize his mistake, and he's in the words of Chris Berman, stumbled, rumbled, and bumbled his way down the field for about 5 or 6 yards, which turned out to be one of the.
That was the highlight of his career, dude. He's like,
he's going to cherish this because the offensive lineman never gets a chance to touch the ball. Never. No. You got defensive linemen get an opportunity to touch the ball more than offensive linemen because they might mess around and catch a fumble that they cause. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, it was just a rough game. Beck throws that pick. Arian Smith. Are we still sold on Arian Smith, or is he just a really fast guy with no hands?
I would agree with the second statement there. I mean, it just depends. It's going back to what you're saying. It's like it's an unorthodox year for this. I mean, this team is not the team of last year and the year before that. I mean, there are flashes of what those teams were, but I mean, we haven't seen anything like that. I mean, like you said, I mean, what the disappointing thing was last week we played Kentucky. We played ball out. We played 4 quarters of complete football, 4 complete quarters of smash mouth football. We did what we're supposed to be doing, and we come around to Vanderbilt, and that goes back to saying like, did we kind of look past Vanderbilt because of who they are or whatever, blah blah blah, whatever. But I mean, you're right. There shouldn't have been. We took a humongous step back. I mean, like playing the game to like Kentucky the way we did, and how everybody was firing on all cylinders just to make a step back to this game against Vanderbilt, Carson throwing a pick, and defense, the secondary getting sliced and diced, and defensive line getting run all over. It wasn't. I don't know, but I've got nothing. And then on top of that, we had we're going to talk about Brock Bowers, the injuries. We knew it was going to happen, right? We knew eventually there was going to be some injuries that happened, and it did, and didn't really expect the one for Brock, but I mean, you and I were talking off camera. It gives Delp an opportunity to show his behind, which I think I was reading something on him just to go on a little bit about him. He was kind of in the position where Stetson was, like he was in the back seat or kind of on the side, and he had he was fortunate to watch Brock Bowers. Like he was second in line to Brock Bowers. So he was biding his time. He's been on the team for 2 years. So he's been watching Brock play. He's been biding his time. Now he gets to come to the show. So now it remains to be seen if he, took notes, paid attention. And I mean, he's a big boy. He's 6'5", 245, I think is what he is. And then so he's a good.
That is a big dude.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a good placeholder if you want to call him a placeholder. But I mean, I think that he's still. I mean, does he have the drive that Brock has? We haven't seen enough.
We'll find out.
So we'll see.
We will definitely find out. That is for sure. And that brings to the question, and you answered it. I put the comment up there for you to see. It was dope. It was is dope the dude. I've seen some things from him, but we know how Kirby Smart is. Kirby loves his shiny toys, and he had 2 tight ends last year. He had Big O, and he had Brock, and Brock got the lion's share of the catches. Now everybody. I think he would let Stetson throw a pass or 2 to Big O a game just so that everybody could see Big O try to hurdle somebody. But God, that was hilarious. That boy like 6 foot, 8 foot 12, trying to hurdle dudes out there. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of a sample size. He's been a serviceable player so far, and hopefully he can step up and be a role player. And we got a little ahead of our.
We got a guy behind him, right? We got that freshman I just said. I can't remember his name. Right off the hand, I had to takes out the screen. But we have a freshman tight end that's a big boy. He's 6'7". He's 6'7" and about two something, 240, 250, whatever. But then we have another guy that was actually in front or behind.
6'7".
He's 6'7".
I don't know. I don't know what that boy's name is, but I tell you what the name is. If I meet him out in the street, be like, "Yes, sir, you can have my wallet and my phone." Oh, you didn't want that. You can have it anyway. Because you look like if you get mad enough, you would take it from me and make me look really bad, and like to where I would have to just leave where I live and go live someplace else.
He's a big boy
and never come back.
As a freshman. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, as a freshman. Just speaking about Carson Beck. Carson Beck was pretty respectable. He had a really good statistically had a good first half. Until there was that pick, and that's another thing. He's thrown at least one pick a game, and the pick always comes at an inopportune time. We have been fortunate. We have been fortunate so far for 7 games that we have been enough in control of the game or had enough of a lead that mistake did not matter. But what I am concerned with, my concern as a fan, tight game. We need every point we can get. We got no points to give. It's like Oregon, Washington. We got no points to give because we know if they get the ball, don't matter how dope our defense is, they're going to score, and he throws a pick. That's my concern because he's had at least one a game for the last 3 games. But other than that, he had a fairly solid game. And Dejon Edwards, I keep wanting to call him Dejon. I'm sorry. We got to save the mustard for October for November 18th when we go to Neyland Stadium. But
Pardon me.
Would you have any great upon? Looking at you, Jeezy. Shouts out to our guy Randy Jowers out there. Dejon Edwards had 20 carries for 146 yards and a touchdown. So basically, that's what it turned into. It turned into a lot of Carson Beck, Dejon Edwards, Dejon Edwards. Good Lord, I'm gonna call this boy Dejon again before the show is over. I swear.
Dejon. But we have a running back for Atlanta is close to that. What is he? He's not Edwards, but he's
Bijan.
Bijan, yeah. So we got
Bijan Robinson. That would be funny.
Right.
Dejon and Bijan if he got drafted by Atlanta.
Yeah, that would be funny. We've got the mustard in the back.
I know, right? We took all the mustard out of Neyland Stadium, and now it's playing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, home of the $7 chicken tender combo.
Right.
So I mean, overall, not a bad game, and some take. We got a couple of other players. Kendall Milton. I don't think Kendall's gonna. If Kendall gets drafted at this point, he's gonna be 5th, 6th rounder, maybe even an undrafted free agent. When he's good, when he's healthy, he's good. But he cannot stay healthy to save his. He was out for most of the season. He comes in, he makes a tentative comeback last week. Comes out this week. He's, dipping and dodging and cutting and rutting. And then all of a sudden he hobbles off to the sideline. Now he's got a brace on. They said he tweaked his MCL. He took a hit, tweaked his MCL, which is what we know that he injured. I don't know. I don't see him having much of a future in the NFL, not as a starting running back. I could maybe see him getting drafted, but he would be drafted very low. And running backs is being devalued by the day, as they like to talk about. So don't see a whole lot coming out of him.
I gotta feel bad for him though, because he really he's chomping at the bit to play, but he just can't. He can't just. I don't know whether it's. I don't want to speculate and say they bring him back too early, but at the same point, he wants to be playing. He wants to this, that, and other. Just like you said though, just everything. Something just seems to happen. But like you said, though, at the time he was cutting and rutting, and he was running over people, and he was cutting and slicing and dicing, and he was doing some good things, and it was just a bad hit on the knee, and it wasn't due to him any kind of a cutting or anything, but I don't know. I feel bad for him. Hopefully he gets healthy. He's a junior, right? I believe he's a junior.
Milton. I think this is last year.
Senior.
I could be wrong. Well, I think this is his first. I think this may be his first draft eligible year. I'm not. I'll have to check that out. Right. I had not considered this perspective that Chris says that maybe it wasn't UGA taking a step back, more about Vandy playing the way they're capable of playing. Which is very true. You know, if you're playing a team that is considered to be superior, you're supposed to play up to their level,
Yeah,
up to your level of competition. You never want to play down to your competition. You always
that's
want to
what
play
we do.
up to their level.
That's what we do.
And but I do. I mean, Chris, you watched the same 12 games I watched in 2001, the same 12 games I watched last season. There's a big difference in the dominance of those two squads in this particular squad. I mean, still 17 points is still 3 scores, but it's not the dominance, and maybe it's just the defense is not shutting offenses down like they used to. Let's take another comment here. The question is Brock a dime a dozen or a Heisman caliber player? Brock Bowers? Oh, I would think he's Heisman. I think the body of work he gave us up until he got hurt. I definitely think he was deserving of the award. He got the award last year, and I think he is a Heisman caliber player. I mean, you know, look at it this way: when Pickens was hurt, and before we knew who Ladd McConkey was a blip on the radar, Brock Bowers was doing the doggone thing. Now, Ladd McConkey also had a breakout a little later that season.
Yeah.
But dime a dozen, nah. I mean, I don't.
Look at him and O. I mean, that Big O is the same thing. I don't think Big O is a dime a dozen. I mean, I think both of them are. I mean, I think Brock is a little bit better than Big O, but Big O, look what he's doing. I mean, like he's killing it in the NFL. So I mean,
well, but the thing with Big O is even with Big O, I feel like we won a national championship. I'm grateful for it. I would have liked to see him used more, not just as a receiver to make the hurdles, but also, I mean, he definitely was a big part of the blocking scheme.
Hey, why don't you put yourself back on the screen, bro? I feel like I'm being like picked on. There we go.
I put you in timeout.
I was like, the camera was up in my nose, bro. Nobody could see you. It felt like I was doing a ventriloquist move. You were talking, but my lips weren't moving.
You repeat after my Jeff Dunham, huh?
I needed a dummy on my hand or something.
Oh man!
Although what you were saying was absolutely perfect. I mean, it was absolutely pristine.
I'm feeling pretty good.
It couldn't do justice with my pretty little mug on the screen, you know.
Oh man! Look,
we talk the same, so I mean, we could, you know, we do talk a little bit similar.
Yeah, I did, Sean. They did score 20. I got that in there. The score was 37-20. It's right there in the crawl.
It's the way you look at it, bro. It's the way you and I look at it. I understand we won by that many and we won the game. It's just things that we don't need to be seeing because we know that if they happen at certain times, it's going to be over. It'll be a wrap.
Right. You know, I mean, we've seen it happen time and time again, not just for us, but for other teams as well, where, you know, that errant throw, that fumble, that interception, whatever, and it cost the whole game.
Well, quick starts on the other team, right? I mean, they let them score right off the jump, and you know, it's just that for Vanderbilt. No disrespect to Andy, you know, that those kinds of teams like that should happen with us, right? So I mean,
the reason and the big reason that we harp on that so hard, especially in 2023, is that there's teams of horses out there. You understand what I'm saying? There's stallions. Like look at the top 5 teams. Go look at the top 5 teams and how they played this past Saturday, and look at the scores, and then come back and look at the Georgia game. Now, I'm not saying that Vanderbilt is so bad that we should have run them out of the stadium.
No,
but as the defending national champions, and I'm going to use air quotes because we are the defending national champions, but as a team that's come back, and you know, I almost get the feeling watching how Georgia's playing that even the poll makers are waiting for Georgia to lose. Like, look how far USC tumbled after they lost the other day.
Oh yeah, what they?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Georgia loses a game, and here's the other thing: we're getting ready to roll into the meat of the conference schedule. I mean, we played Auburn, we played Kentucky, we played Vanderbilt. That is no knock on any of those. All three fine teams, but three teams that are still either in rebuilding status or in Auburn's case. Well, actually, Auburn is rebuilding first year new coach. Kentucky's rebuilding after losing some key players. Vanderbilt working on building a good foundation. We've got Florida, who magically I won't say magically, but we've given Florida a lot of grief. So I'll go ahead and just use magically for the sake of the discussion. We've got Florida, who all of a sudden is a 5-2 team with one conference loss, which means that I want you to consider this. If we lose to Florida, win out. If we lose to Florida and that's our one loss, guess who? And Florida does not lose another conference game. Guess who wins the East?
Well, it would be Florida. Yeah. Well, I'm not seeing that happen. The same man. I have been. I'm gonna speak for myself. That I have been dogging on this program for his now season and a half of coaching at the University of Florida. A man who was a good coach before he came to Florida is just, I think he inherited a program in shambles. It's going to take him some time to build it. So and sometimes it looks like it's a little bit overwhelming for him, but obviously you're doing something right. Like I said, we rattled off the teams that they beat, but still the philosophy is just like the people talking about Georgia with the cupcake schedule. Your job is to beat whoever they put in front of you, whether they are good or whether they are bad. And he's been doing it. Yep.
We're into the meat and potatoes of the conference schedule. We got Florida in 2 weeks. We got Missouri behind that, and Missouri is looking nasty.
Yeah, exactly. Now, how many of those? I don't have it in front of me. How many of those are at home? I mean, like, how many of the last games we got are at home?
We got two. We got two at home, and we got two at home. We got Tennessee at Neyland and the cocktail party, which is
neutral.
we are actually the home team for that game, neutral site game in the state of Florida. My ass. Did I say that out loud? Anyway, so yeah, we're playing Missouri at home. We're playing Ole Miss at home, and then we're going to Neyland for the final conference game of the year.
See, Florida worries me. I mean, Florida worries me, Tennessee worries me, and Missouri worries me. And I mean, Ole Miss. I mean, I don't think Ole Miss, but I mean, you never know though. I mean, you never know what old Kiffin's going to up his sleeve. I mean, you never know. But and I agree with Chris there. Yeah, they had Chris. One team I think might give Georgia trouble is Missouri. Yeah, I mean they are trouble. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Alec did say upset in Florida, but I don't know. I don't know. We shall see. But you know what? I'm a worry word. You know what? I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Because I'm a Georgia sports fan. I'm a worry word anyway, because we have had the football yanked out from under us so many times that it's just become commonplace. Even the year that we won the national championship and we were holding people to like up until we played Kentucky, nobody had even scored a touchdown on us. I'm like, man, Kentucky could be trouble. And then we shut down Chris Rodriguez and Will Levis. And then I was like, so-and-so could be trouble next week. And we shut them down. I was like that all season. I was like that the whole game against Alabama until Brock Bowers ran the touchdown, and then Keely Ringo sealed the deal. I was the whole game like, please don't lose this game. Please don't lose this game. Please don't lose this game. I do not want to hear any more 2nd and 26 jokes or 3rd or 28-3 or John Elway or 14 division titles or best team.
Don't even go there, man.
I think it has become a part of our physical and psychological being as Georgia sports fans to expect to lose, even if you are by and large and above everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that we're there this year. I'm not. Taking a look back, that 2021 team was nasty, and I'm sorry, fellas, that doubted you week to week. Just comes with the territory. I thought the squad to win the championship should have been the 2018 and that team. after they whooped Auburn in the conference championship and then beat Baker Mayfield.
Yep. I mean, they didn't only whip
And
Auburn. I mean, they destroyed Auburn.
And Baker, and yeah, and remember, Auburn had beat us in the regular season. So again, we going into the game like, oh man, I hope this ain't gonna be no BS. Right. And Baker Mayfield was the bet. Now, to be fair, that game actually was pretty even matched, and then Georgia just kind of said, okay, we can stop playing with our food now. And then but anyway,
was what happened. So we blocked several field goals that year. We were king of the blocks, but. Anyway, yeah. I mean,
and you know what, OG, you right. And I'm trying to give them. I'm actually giving the man props. I'm trying to put some respect on the man. Man, could you let me?
As we finish it, we're good. As we finish it, we're done. As we finish
I can't even give people no props. This man talking about put some respect on the man name. I'm trying to put some respect on the man name. I'm sitting here right now as a Georgia fan saying I have a legitimate reason to worry that Florida could sneak up on us because didn't nobody expect nothing out of Florida. Florida could be the one to knock Georgia off the pedestal. That's what I'm saying. Sure. I'm being real.
Yeah.
I'm being real. I'm following behind Uncle Lou, calling Billy, calling Billy Napier, Sunbelt Billy, and looked up and I was like, I literally looked at their record Sunday morning and went, damn, they're 5-2. Holy hell! They put together a string of 4 wins out of 5. Look, all they need is one more to be bowl eligible, and that's a huge turnaround from a huge turnaround. Anyway, I'm gonna stop messing with the OG. Me and OG clown back and forth. Does Chris Davis Jr. still give me nightmares? You know what gives me nightmares, Nathan? The fact that you don't eat chicken wings. That's what gives me nightmares.
Oh my goodness.
Matter of fact, just for you, I'm on. Even though I ate dinner, I'm gonna order myself some wings, and I'm gonna eat them. I might know. I started saying I would eat them on the internet, but that's probably not a good idea. I will be a meme, and Dr. Umar Johnson will come for me, and Minister Farrakhan will come for me, and Jesse Jackson will come out of retirement.
I'll eat some. I'll bring some.
Minister Farrakhan to be talking about this young brother want to go on the internet embarrassing us. Eating chicken wings, got grease all on his lips, looking like a combination of Uncle Ruckus and Steven from Django.
Oh my God. Oh good.
Anyway, I apologize for my outburst. Moving along.
Lord, I apologize.
Moving along. Oh my God. Moving along. That's a good segue. Who's up next? Them. Right now. You know what? That's not even right. That is not even right. That's supposed to be Florida. Hold on, let me do a little something here. I don't know who put them stats in there. I might have been half asleep when I put them in there.
You sure you wouldn't eat them wings?
Nah, man. I wouldn't eat no wings when I did that.
That greasy fingers.
As a matter of fact,
Mr. Fingers is greasy fingers.
Stop.
Hey.
Matter of fact, you know what's messed up is I put the stats in backwards because at the time I put that on there, they had not played yet. They were 3-0 in the SEC, and they were 4-2, and I put 1-3 and 2-4 or whatever it said, 2-5. I put that in there backwards.
Gotcha.
There we go. That's who's up next. The Florida Gators. And I'm gonna have my say about that next week. I'll do a lot of talking about that. Matter of fact, OG, I need you to go ahead and book me an invite to the college football show so I come on there and be on there. And I'm gonna come on there and I'm gonna have something to say. I want to call out Mr. Alex Shabba right now. When are we gonna talk about it? That's ludicrous. He over there bloviating, talking about a loss in Florida. I'm not even trying to hear it. I got Shannon over here calling me Skip. I got my non-existent girlfriend that I talk about on television making fun of my hairline.
He needs to get both of us on. Mr. OG need to get both of us on there for that Florida game.
Oh man, look, let me stop clowning. We got Florida. We got Florida on the radar in 2 weeks. Y'all know how it is, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. We'll talk about that game
Oh
to
yeah.
a great
We do
extent.
have a bye week this week, though. We do have a bye
We
week.
got a bye week coming up this week, so we won't have any game details to talk about next week, next Monday when we come on. But we will definitely talk plenty about what we need to do in order to win this game, what we need to do in order to win this game, and et cetera, et cetera. And we'll give Sunbelt Billy some more props. So Sean, don't come in the comment section and club me.
And
Uh,
hopefully our injury bug will be kind of almost dead. Hopefully some of those guys will be cured.
yeah,
We'll see what I'm talking.
cured. How the hell you gonna get? How the hell you gonna get cured from a tightrope?
You
A tight.
cure your body cures itself, man. It cures itself. That's what
Yeah,
the
we
blood.
never did really. We never did really talk about. We never did really talk about the. So the tightrope. The tightrope procedure is basically they're going to not fuse, but they're going to basically run a screw through his tib and his fib
Yeah,
on the
to
lower
stabilize
end
the ankle,
to
basically.
stabilize the ankle. I know that they're saying 4 to 6 weeks, according to everything that I read, and I don't want to scare Georgia fans, but it could be as much as 8 to 12, which
Yeah,
means that he feasibly might not play until maybe the national championship. He may not pop back up until like George Pickens, a la George Pickens.
right.
So all I'm saying is don't look to see Brock Bowers back out on the field anytime soon, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to have to make some recoup. He's going to have to recoup, but he will make his way back. I'm sure. I'm sure that should we
He'll be
do
back.
what we need to do and get where we need to get, that he'll be back. So
Absolutely.
having said that, now we're going to take that commercial break that I said we're going to take. We'll be right back with the 2 minute warning. This is Mr. Fingers and Colin P on This Week in UGA Football. We'll be right back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, yes, hurry on over to zagnifappareldesign.com. Today, we got all kinds of gear, not just the leggings and stuff that you see on the ladies' sports gear that you saw there. We got winter gear. The winter gear is getting ready to go up soon since the temperatures are starting to change. We got hoodies. We got a couple of not the puffy vests. We got a couple of fleece vests on there, all with the signature on there. Speaking of signatures, if you would like to potentially win yourself some Zagnif gear, here's your opportunity to do so. The Florida game is in 2 weeks. We've had a pick 'em every week. We didn't do one for Vanderbilt because we waited just a little bit too late to put that one up. But we've been doing a pick 'em every week for a hat. So if you would like the opportunity to win one of these beautiful snapback caps, now the snapback that's up for the giveaway is all black. It's black with a black brim, and black with black accents with the white signature logo on it right there. Zagnif Apparel established 2021. It's hard to tell which side that's on from looking at it in the camera. It's on a different side. But yeah, Zagnif Apparel established 2021. It is embroidered. I don't know if you can see that there. That is not printed on there. That is embroidered. These are great. I've had this cap for 2 years. still in brand new mint condition.
Oh, wow.
Brand new mint condition.
Well, I was gonna give you props, man. I'm proud of you, man, having that stuff going on since 2021 or 2021. It's about to be 2022.
We still waiting on it to take off and fly, but I mean it's there. It's there. People want to get it. So please do. It's what we're going to do. The group is called This Week in SEC Football. That is on Facebook. If you venture your way on over, and give me a second. Oh, come on. Why is this thing doing this to me? Because I'm clicking stuff too fast. That's why. So the name of the group. You hush about you, Colin P. You hush about that chicken.
You know
we're not doing this anymore. I told Shannon you can sit in the chair, but you can only sit in it for a week.
We can do it together. We can have a chicken wing episode. We could just talk football and eat wings. Yeah. All right.
The group is called This Week in SEC Football. It is on Facebook. Go to that group. The post will be pinned. It will be a pinned post. You'll be able to see it right up there. It'll have a little thumbtack in it. You guess the score to the Georgia-Florida game. Whoever guesses the closest final score to the Georgia-Florida game will win themselves a Zagniff. You know what? I'm feeling generous. I'm feeling generous. I'm feeling crazy, Colin. I'm feeling crazy. I'm feeling crazy. I'm feeling crazy. You know what I'm gonna do for you? If you get the score, if you get the closest score, I put it to you like this, and I'm gonna play a little biased. If you get, well, no, I didn't specify you had to say who won. I put it to you like this: if you get closest to the score, and just the score, the generic score, you get the ball cap. If you get closest to the score and you decide to pick a winner, and you pick the winner and get closest to the score, I'm giving you a hat, and I'm throwing in a hoodie.
Oh, throwing
in a hoodie. There it is. And I'm throwing in a hoodie. That's right. So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Go to that group right there. This Week in SEC Football on Facebook. Find the post. It will be up tonight. I'm going to try and remember to make it right after we go off the air. If you want to just guess the score, guess the score. If you want to guess the score and who's going to win, you're welcome to do that as well. If you're just guessing the score and you come closest to the score, you get a hat. If you come closest to the score and pick the winner, you get a hat and a hoodie. That's how we rolling. Zagniff apparel, dressed like you already famous.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. That's word.
That is. That's better.
That's word right there. So we're gonna move. We're gonna keep this thing moving on along. We appreciate you guys hanging with us. We're running a little bit behind. I am mad that I missed the game because I really want to see you. Don't tell me, Colin, because I know you probably got it up on the TV.
Yeah,
Do not tell me. Do not tell me. Do not tell me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, end of the show. Final segment. Even though they don't do this in college football anymore, the 2-minute warning. Yeah, it's a 2-minute warning. That's our final segment of the show. We give you some thoughts, some things to ponder after you have walked away from the festivities and the shenanigans that is this show. We do appreciate you all tuning in, by the way. We really do. The numbers are up, and we appreciate each and every one of you that have been watching and liking and sharing. We do appreciate that. Got a few people that have been taking, that have asked me to send them the link every week, and they're posting it in some of these SEC groups that we don't, some of these underground SEC groups that we don't know about, and posting it to Twitter and things like that. So we appreciate y'all for real. Appreciate you. I'm giving you the full hand clap to punctuate my sentences on mothers, on fathers, on mothers, on fathers, on my empty bowl of shepherd's pie. I'm telling you, we appreciate y'all. But we try and leave you with a little something to think about after we've come on here and given you some thoughts about Georgia football and some breakdowns of scores and things like that. Colin, I'm gonna let you go first, sir.
Yeah, man, it's pretty simple. After this weekend, man, it's just be thankful for what you got, family members, and things may seem, how I guess the world is right now, all the nonsense going on across the across the ponds and this, there, and here and there and everywhere. And, just be thankful for what you got and the people that are in your life. I actually, time flies. I mean, and it's cliche to say so, but I cannot believe that I am a parent to a 13-year-old son that, and just thinking about it, it's like yesterday. It's like yesterday we brought him home after spending 65 days in the hospital. All the things he's gone through. You may think you're going through some bad stuff, but other people got it worse. So be thankful for how you have it, and just be thankful all around for what you have, and don't worry too much about what you don't got. Worry about what you have and take care of that, and love your people that your family and friends you hold dear. I mean, that's all I got. I mean, that just I had a great time, with Brady's mother. She said she did a fantastic job setting up the party over there at excuse me, at Dave and Buster's, and had some kids running around there, and it's kind of made me feel a little young for about 5 minutes watching them run around. And I felt old, right after. 5 minutes was nice, but I felt old directly after. But anyway, that's all I got, my man. And I'll tell you what, to be honest with you, 100% with you, man, it actually makes me feel better, coming every week to be on the horn here with you. It makes. I'm glad.
Yeah,
we've actually, we lost touch there for a minute, but then we got back, and I couldn't thank Sean enough for bringing us back into each other's path. So that's
for sure. Shouts out to the OG Sean Spencer, for real. Mine is a little different, and mine is a little different. I want you to stop and think for a second. If you knew that you only had a certain amount of time to live, what would you do with that time? I know people say, "Oh, I'd find every woman I could find and find every dude I could find and save stuff like that," because most of y'all are doing that anyway. I'm sorry, I joke, but I don't know. I'm just serious. These ain't jokes. But would you do something? Would you take the time to mend fences? Would you take the time to do the things in life that maybe you said you were going to do and you never got around to doing? I know this is sounding a little bucket list-ish, but everybody is born on this earth knowing that at some point you're going to have to leave here. It's something we don't think about when we're kids. We're definitely not even remotely considering it. Once we get about 14 or 15 to about 25 to 30 something, not even a thought in the back of our minds ever, no matter what the craziness is we're doing, not even thinking about it. And then you get on the other side of your mid-30s, you start pushing towards 40, and you're like, okay, the gray hairs, and you start setting up retirement accounts and things of that nature. And then you finally look and you're like, it's time to sit down. And that's if you're fortunate enough to get that far. But what if you knew? Would you actually take the time to mend relationships, make relationships better that were sour, ones that you had an opportunity to fix and didn't? Would you maybe try and do something you never done before? Who knows? I mean, I say bucket list because it was funny to me watching Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman in that movie. I think that was an absolutely awesome movie.
That was a great movie.
I don't know. I mean, I want you to think about that. I know some people say I would never know when I want to die because none of us knows. Like we know and somebody said something that was kind of chilling to me. We all know when our birthday is. None of us know when our death day is. We pass our death day every year, just like our birthday. We just don't know when our death day is yet, and we'll never know until we get there.
That's right.
And so if you know how long or roughly how long you have to live, it's just my 2 cents that instead of a curse, you might have been given a blessing. Because if you know I've got from here to here, and I might not make it to there, but if you know I've got from here to here, that gives you an opportunity to make some things square with some folks.
Yep.
maybe smooth over some relationships that were kind of rough. Ones that can be saved. Ones that you can't save, nothing you can do about it. Maybe become a better version of maybe try and become a version of the person you thought that you would be when you became when you grew up. I'm gonna be an astronaut. I'm gonna go to the moon. I want to dance like Michael Jackson. I want to do all the stuff you said you wanted to do when you were a kid. Just take some time and think about that, and instead of waiting until your death date is coming, why not try and apply that while you don't know it and see if it doesn't maybe change your life for the better, change the lives for the better of the people that are around you. That's just my 2 cents and my thought for the evening. That is pretty much it. I'm not going to get any deeper into it because there's so many layers to that thought process. I could talk for another hour, but we don't have an hour because Colin's got stuff to do, and I want to go get some more food. And I talked to doggone Nathan about some wings, and now I want some wings. So,
I did tell you. I tell you that Mama Duke's here. She made me some pot pie. Like we made. I requested it last night. So whenever you posted in the group that you had some pot pie and you made pot pie and shepherd's pie, old Mom's hooked it up for me and Pops. So
last night after I made
that you had posted that.
Yeah, y'all.
Yes, sir.
The missus said she wanted some pot pie, and she got the ingredients, and she walked me through putting it together, and I put that sucker in the oven, and man, look.
I can make some. I can do it. I learned it from her, but she can make some killer pot pie, and I think she's made shepherd pie a time or two, but. Yeah,
the shepherd's pie turned out good too. I messed it up. I wound up mixing all the ingredients together instead of layering it out. Yeah. And I might have put a pinch too much of one thing and then a pinch not enough of another. It was still good, but it wasn't like the shepherd pie. When I first had shepherd pie and I had a single tear roll down the side of my face and go, "This is delicious." So
let me ask you, not to go off kilter. But your pot pie? You buy a bag of mixed vegetables? Did you buy the mixed vegetables, the bag of it, the frozen, or how did you do it?
Did the can?
Okay, yeah. So I'm saying next time you buy a bag of frozen mixed vegetables, I'm trying to figure out why there's about half carrots and about half the other vegetables. I mean, the carrots must be cheap because they put a whole.
They gotta be
bag of vegetables. I'm serious, but anyway,
they gotta be, man. They absolutely, positively gotta be.
But anyway, I don't even go. But I'm just saying, I'm not a huge carrot fan. I'm just thinking, I'm like, but it seems like there's more carrots than anything else in that bag of veggies. But it was good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, bro, that thing was good. I think
Southern cooking up here, and
man. I think we ate all but a corner of that pot pie last night.
I finished it off today.
Yeah.
They left this morning. I finished mine off today. So
yeah, I forgot to pack some, so whatever I didn't get last night, I just didn't get. But it's okay. I know how to make it now.
There you go.
But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that brings us to the end of our show. We ran a little long tonight, but we appreciate you working with us. I think we had a great show. We appreciate you all joining us. We will be back next week on Monday. As you do know, we do have a bye week this week, so we won't have any Georgia game commentary. We will be talking about other games around the SEC, other games, notable games in college football. Of course, we'll probably since we gave Dion, Coach Prime, a week off from mentioning him, although the sketch. I started to say skit, then I turned skit into sketch halfway through saying it. So
look at me, Colin.
Colin, look at me. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna give it. Man, I should have clipped that. Bro, don't do that. I'm getting ready to clip that.
Yeah, clip it up. We can see it next week.
Yes, sir. Clip. Look at me, Colin.
Listen here, Colin. What about me?
All right. So anyway, We do appreciate you guys tuning in. So on behalf of myself, Mr. Fingers from the 405 in the heart of the blah, 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 wind, the plane, and all of that stuff. We appreciate you. And Colin P from the DMV, we appreciate you all tuning in. We will be back next week. Y'all take care of yourselves. And until next Monday, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.